It's no secret, the West is undergoing a software singularity, and the East, a manufacturing singularity. In every corner of the economy, hard skills are being rapidly automated by AI. Understanding the psychology of the modern workplace is increasingly becoming the most important and valuable skill set you can have. To begin, you must understand that in every company, every employee can be classified into three distinct groups. We'll conduct an analysis from the hit TV show, The Office, to showcase this. These three are the hard-working effort maxer, the bare minimum, paycheck-collecting hobby maxer, and the sociopathic power maxer. 1. The old guard, the hard-working effort maxer. Every job has a Michael Scott, and if you don't know who it is, it's probably you. There was once upon a time where the world was run by effort maxers. It is most evident in the exquisite architecture and detailed art from a bygone era. Hard work and loyalty used to be praised by society, and our ancestors erected statues for their contributions. Kusunoki Masahige's statue in front of the Emperor's Palace in Tokyo, Japan, depicts a samurai who knowingly charged into certain death at the Emperor's command over 700 years ago, and is acknowledged today by the Japanese as a paragon of loyalty. If Masahige was an employee in the modern era, how would the system treat his loyalty?
Okay, Dunder Mifflin is the enemy.
Dunder Mifflin has always treated me with the utmost respect, with loyalty. They were going to give me your job, and I should have taken it.
All right, wait. Before you go any further, let me show you what kind of loyalty they have, okay?
Michael Scott is a former top salesman that was promoted to a branch manager role and has dedicated decades of his life to the company. Jan Levinson is currently suing the company for wrongful termination. Her and Michael currently have an ongoing romantic relationship, and Michael is essentially being asked to choose between her or the company in this deposition. Which side will he choose? The following dialogue perfectly encapsulates the effort maxer's dilemma.
Okay, Lester, please read that part of Wallace's deposition.
Starting at paragraph 6. Counsel, Mr. Wallace, regarding Michael Scott, was he a contender to replace Jan Levinson? David Wallace, yes.
See? I was number one contender. I was being groomed.
I considered. Counsel, was he being seriously considered for the corporate job? David Wallace, no.
It is abundantly clear that the company has no loyalty to Michael, despite his decades of hard work. The company puts up just enough of a mirage to convince him there is a semblance of loyalty. But to the outside viewer, it is comedically obvious that Michael's loyalty is not reciprocated.
I have one more question, Mr. Scott. Wouldn't you agree with Ms. Levinson that the company exhibits a pattern of disrespect toward its employees?
Absolutely not.
Michael actively chooses to sustain the delusion that his relationship with the company is on a quid pro quo basis, when the bargain he has struck as an effort maxer is the most lopsided one. This is essentially the career path of the hard-working effort maxer in today's system. Accolades, trophies, and high fives in lieu of real power and material financial gain. To queue into multi-year traditional promotional paths for middle management positions, where he awaits his ultimate fate as a scapegoat for a sociopathic power maxer's high-risk machinations. Dwight's career exemplifies this path perfectly.
Salesman of the year at our company. He wins a little prize money and gets honored at some convention.
It's the test launch day for the inaugural Sabre store. And
The chairman of the company embarks on a high-risk endeavor by pivoting into consumer electronics to be sold in retail storefronts. The CEO puts Dwight in charge of the entire operation. Dwight, who has been waiting for decades for a promotion into a managerial position, jumps headfirst into the opportunity.
And I, Dwight Schrute, am in charge of the entire operation.
Couldn't just kill the project from the start. Joe Bennett endorsed it. Shame, though, I did like Dwight.
Robert! I'm gonna win!
Showtime.
Dwight.
You again? Gosh, I keep throwing you away. You keep flying back. You're like an Amish return stick.
Okay, great. Listen to me. Listen to me. No, I know. Will you just let me tell you one thing, please?
Yes, you may tell me one thing.
Great.
Wait, do you want to borrow money?
Listen to me. Robert is going to veto the Sabre store.
Jim, come on.
Dwight, he's going to kill the store. And then I'm pretty sure he's going to fire you for it.
Wait, he's going to kill the store. And he's going to fire.
Despite Dwight's loyalty and years of service, he comes close to the effort maxer's ultimate fate. His lasting contribution to the company as a scapegoat for a sociopathic power maxer's high-risk machinations. Why is it that overperforming hard workers in today's system get treated this way? It's simple. This era has imperfect companies that are perfectly pathological. The system is set up so that each person's fate is determined by their reaction to bargains and leverage. 99.9% of employees at a company have struck a lopsided bargain with the company. By working hard, effort maxers are communicating that they are willing to work hard despite unfair circumstances. Notice how despite the failure of the Sabre store, it is Dwight who gets blamed and not any of the power maxers when it was their idea in the first place. And what if the storefront was a success? Dwight would never have been ushered into the position to begin with, and the power maxer CEO would harvest the resulting goodwill. This is a bad bargain. Whether the Sabre store is a success or failure, the person ushered in to take charge of the operation gets none of the upside and inherits all of the downside. Who in their right mind would accept this? The effort maxer. They have already demonstrated that they are willing to turn a blind eye to bad bargains, be loyal, and work hard. This is the plight of the hard-working effort maxer today. They are first in line during layoffs and are at the mercy of the economic cycle. Effort maxers have no control of their fates in today's system. A relic of the past, this era is most unfair to effort maxers. Do you take pride in your work? Are you the hardest, most knowledgeable worker? Have you been waiting years for a meaningful promotion? Be honest with yourself as the system will. Unfortunately, it is never too late to wake up. 2. The bare minimum, paycheck collecting hobby maxer. Generally, the hobby maxers find meaning in their lives outside of work and is the most common co-worker you'll interact with.
Look, the clock is slow. It is 5 o'clock. I will see you all tomorrow.
Bye, Stanley. Love you.
So long, Stanley.
Night, everybody.
There are two main distinctions that separate effort maxers from hobby maxers. 1. They are cognizant of the bad bargain they have struck with the company and attempt to balance the equation by optimizing their level of effort. 2. Hobby maxers actively participate in social capital games and find truth in collective emotion and shared narratives. We can clearly distinguish the effort maxers and hobby maxers in the ability to participate in collective emotions here. Take note of the alpha and omega designations, as they will be important in the following discussion.
Also, what is this?
Tape recorder.
For what?
For recording. Michael is on vacation, and he's asked me to record all meetings and to type up the transcripts.
Okay. Karen, any news from that law firm?
Yeah, the deal closed yesterday. It's a 6-month commitment.
Oh my God. Dwight, what are you doing?
What?
You're not allowed to take off your pants in the middle of the office.
I'm not.
Dwight, you know what? Just back off, okay? That's making me uncomfortable. This is sexual harassment, by the way. Oh my God. He's got a knife.
I do not have a knife.
No, let the record show that Dwight K. Schrute is now completely nude and is holding a plastic knife to Stanley's neck.
Let the record show that Jim Halpert is a liar.
Dwight Schrute is now wearing a baby's bonnet.
I am not.
Oh, Jim Carrey just walked in. Dwight, get his autograph from Michael.
Jim Carrey did not just walk in, okay?
Dwight, what is that on your stomach? Is that a Muppet Babies tattoo?
Oh my God,
You
Karen,
can't
you're right.
see
That
this.
is Animal from the Muppet
You
Babies.
can't see my stuff.
It's important to note that objectively, Phyllis and Karen's joke were not that funny.
See my stuff.
I am now chopping off Phyllis's head with a chainsaw.
Can you guess who the effort maxers and hobby maxers are? If you have experience socializing at all, participation in social capital games should be second nature to you. Intuitively, every group has an alpha who leads a joke and an omega who is on the receiving end. Here, Jim is clearly the alpha and Dwight the omega. Objectively, Karen and Phyllis's follow-up jokes were not funny, but socially acceptable, because they stayed in line with the alpha and omega designation of the group. When Andy came to the defense of Dwight and departed from this designation, a social awkwardness set in that anyone who has spent any time socializing can intuitively grasp. Lastly, the hobby maxer class as a collective is distinguished by status obscurity, which is reinforced by each hobby maxer's unique life script. Ryan describes this dynamic from the perspective of a sociopathic power maxer perfectly here.
You don't want to be like a guy here, you know? Like Stanley is the crossword puzzle guy, and Angela has
In real life, it won't be crosswords and cats. It'll be the car guy, the chef friend, or programmer buddy.
cats. I don't want to have a thing here. You know, I don't want to be the something guy.
Apart from the alpha and omega, the members of the group's status remains obscure. In essence, it is a game of mutual delusion to maintain the emotional status quo. That is until the sociopathic power maxer enters. 3. The sociopathic power maxer. The sociopathic power maxer are the will to power types, but what's unique about them is that early on their careers, they are actually low-effort employees. Everyone who has spent a meaningful amount of time at a job has witnessed someone who somehow gets fast-tracked into management despite being subpar as a low-level producer. While this may seem odd, upon careful analysis, it will start to make perfect sense.
Walk us through a typical day for you. Yeah, great. Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door, that way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour.
In the movie The Office Space, Peter's company Initech has hired a consulting firm to execute deep layoffs at the company. The sociopathic power-maxing consultants, Bob and Bob, begin this process by interviewing employees at the company to determine which employees to lay off. In this clip, the Bobs are interviewing Peter, who has recently woken up to the reality of his bad bargain with the company.
Space out? Yeah, I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
I'd like to move us right along to a Peter Gibbons. Now, we had a chance to meet this young man, and boy, that's just a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
While Office Space exaggerates for entertainment purposes, the quick paths to upper management in the sociopathic power maxers' careers is no way a coincidence in today's system. Taking a deep look at the responsibilities of corporate management at a company, you'll notice there is nowhere in their job description that requires them to be the best at sales or the most efficient producer-level employee. Their primary responsibility and highest value addition is in resource allocation. Sociopathic tendencies allow them to correctly recognize and exploit a young idea for growth, while quickly killing underperforming ideas so that the company can concentrate its resources. Thus, the first test of an up-and-coming power maxer is how they deal with the fundamentally lopsided bargain they have struck with the company as a producer-level worker. Peter here has passed this first test in colors, while also showcasing an immunity to company propaganda, identifying tangible inefficiencies.
Here's something else, Bob. I have 8 different bosses right now.
I beg your pardon?
8 bosses.
8?
8, Bob. So that means that when I make a mistake, I have 8 different people coming by to tell me about it.
It bears repeating that cold-hearted sociopathic tendencies are required, as this allows power maxers to stay emotionally detached enough to identify and kill underperforming ideas, and to correctly recognize and exploit a young idea for growth. Earlier, I suggested that up-and-coming power maxers are low-effort employees in entry-level positions. If you've been paying attention, you might have wondered then what the differences are with hobby maxers, given they are also cognizant of their bad bargains with the company. There are several distinctions.
You know what? We could get this done a lot quicker if we formed a type of assembly line.
This here is a run-out-the-clock situation, just like upstairs.
Hobby maxer Stanley telling the up-and-coming sociopathic power maxer Ryan that this is a run-out-the-clock situation is essentially a description of a hobby maxer's entire life, coasting through life on self-preservation instincts and putting in the bare minimum effort necessary to maintain their desired level of job security. This scene brilliantly showcases the significant difference in mentality between sociopathic power maxers and hobby maxers. At entry-level positions, bare minimum effort by sociopathic power maxers is to engineer up or out dynamics, while hobby maxers leverage their efforts to exchange for enhanced job security or to extend leisure benefits when the occasion to utilize leverage permits.
I was going to quit, but Jan offered me a 3-month paid vacation.
Here we see hobby maxer Oscar utilizing leverage to extract more leisure benefits. What do you think a sociopathic power maxer would do with leverage?
Excuse me, Jan, I'm sorry not to stop you there. I will not be taking the job.
Excuse me, why not?
As of today, I have accepted a senior management position at Staples.
Today. You leverage your new position with us into another offer?
Sociopathic power maxers are constantly looking to attain more leverage to exchange for more power. In today's system, where continuous growth is necessary for a company's survival, upon careful analysis, it becomes obvious that it is a mathematical certainty that the only employees capable of delivering sustainable performance and growth are the sociopathic power maxers. Every other employee's contributions to the company exhibits diminishing returns over time. This applies to both hobby maxers and effort maxers. They both require raises every year, will run into incremental bits of leverage over time that must be compensated for, and so the fixed costs pile up to maintain them, while their contributions converge with the broader economic cycle. Today, a company's survival is essentially then a game of identifying and accelerating promotions to sociopathic power maxers to free them up to execute on behalf of the company, which leads to the first significant understanding you must embrace on the psychology of the modern workplace. Sociopathic power maxers. Knowingly promote overperforming entry-level employees they identify as effort maxers into middle management, which functions as an inventory of fall men for power maxers when high-risk machinations fail. Groom underperforming entry-level employees who utilize leverage into future sociopathic power maxers, and leave the rest of the average bare minimum hobby maxers to fend for themselves.
Lock, I got him. Now, Tank, now.